Auf den Spuren der Schleimpilze. Ein Podcast für Neugierige.
Hello, I'm delighted to welcome you to another episode of On the Trail of Slime Molds. My name is Anna Bursac, and I've just graduated from high school in Austria. This podcast about slime molds was a final research project and part of my high school graduation. In today's episode, I'll be talking about the habitats and nutrition of Myxomycetes. In principle, slime molds can be found all around the world. Naturally, the species that occur in a particular region vary from place to place. However, humanity's knowledge of slime mold biodiversity is certainly not yet complete. Why? Because, so far, slime molds have not been studied in the same manner and, more importantly, in the same intensity in all regions of the world. Concerning the distribution of Myxomycetes worldwide, scientists have come to a peculiar conclusion. They have discovered that slime mold diversity is not highest in tropical rainforests. In fact, it is at its very lowest there. At first glance, this is quite surprising. For most groups of organisms, species diversity reaches its maximum in the tropics. This pattern is described by the latitudinal biodiversity gradient. According to this gradient, the number of species generally decreases with increasing distance from the equator. Due to practical reasons, Myxomycetes are an exception to this rule. Although rainforest conditions do provide ideal levels of moisture, there remain several drawbacks. Firstly, rainfall is simply too frequent and additionally too intense for slime molds and their fruiting bodies. The delicate structures of their fructifications can hardly withstand such heavy downpours. As a result, slime molds produce fruiting bodies less often. Though when they do, the fruiting bodies are also washed away more quickly by the rain. What's more, air currents are weaker than those found in our deciduous forests here in Austria. Rainforests have an even denser canopy, which further reduces airflow. This is a clear disadvantage for Myxomycetes. Their spores cannot be dispersed over long distances as effectively. Another factor is the relatively thin litter layer on the rainforest floor. The litter layer consists of mainly dead plant material: leaves, twigs, bark, fruits, and seeds. In forests that contain conifers, it also includes fallen needles. The climatic conditions in the tropics differ greatly from those in temperate regions. High temperatures and regular rainfall enable decomposers to break down organic material continuously and rapidly. Consequently, the litter layer in rainforests is only a few millimeters thick. This makes it much thinner than the litter layer found in deciduous forests. A thicker layer of leaf litter provides slime molds with more space and more food, making it a more favorable habitat. Which leads me to the topic of nutrition. Leaf litter is home to countless microorganisms, which are an ideal source of food for slime molds. Myxomycetes are not autotrophic organisms like plants or chemosynthetic bacteria. Instead, they depend on other organisms or on the product of their metabolism as a source of nutrition. In other words, they are heterotrophic, just like humans. Be that as it may, slime molds do not feed exclusively on microorganisms. They are also capable of digesting more complex organisms, including higher fungi and algae. Many of the mushrooms we eat belong to the group of higher fungi. To break down complex plant compounds, slime molds rely on symbiotic bacteria that they take up into their cells. These bacteria possess the enzymes required for this process. There's one more aspect I would like to discuss regarding the occurrence of slime molds. Observations show that conditions of the microclimate play a crucial role. The term microclimate refers to the environmental conditions in the immediate surroundings of an organism. What does this mean for Austria? Although the country is generally characterized by temperate climate, it is the conditions at a specific location that matter to Myxomycetes. In fact, this could be defined as a general rule that applies to all slime molds. Whether a slime mold occurs at a particular site depends primarily on three factors: availability of substrate, humidity or degree of moisture, and temperature. When preparing to form fruiting bodies, the desired conditions change. Slime molds often move to elevated positions, not seldom exposed to sunlight. They may even migrate onto living plants or onto the fruiting bodies of fungi. In doing so, however, they do not act as parasites. All they do is take advantage of these exposed locations. In some cases, a slime mold may accumulate so densely that it inhibits the growth of the organism it has colonized. If that organism is particularly unlucky, it may even die. Yet, such cases are relatively rare. Besides plants and fungi, Myxomycetes have also been observed fooding on rocks and even on metal and plastic waste. As a matter of fact, such observations are becoming increasingly common. Apparently, some people still choose to leave their trash in the forest. We may all draw our own conclusions from this in regard to the environmental pollution caused by humans. Thank you for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, I would greatly appreciate your feedback. Until next time.
Sie haben gehört, auf den Spuren der Schleimpilze. Schön, dass Sie heute dabei waren. Bleiben Sie dran.